So, ladies and gentlemen, again, my name is Ren, coming to you live from the University of the Bahamas Athletics Department, as well as University Relations, to interview our student athlete alumni, coaches, athletic trainer, and of course staff to learn what they are doing during this off season. Of course, the whole world is affected by the pandemic that is COVID-19, and what we have chosen to do is take this time to talk from a historical and also present perspective to learn from athletes what they can do to stay fit, stay effective, and of course one day become mingos. So today we're continuing the interview with Garvin Lightbourne. The first session, I think, once again was dynamic. He hit a lot of historical points with the program starting in the early 2000s, him coming on board, not having a lot of the privileges that student athletes have today. So as we go into our second segment, we invite you, that is our audience, our listeners, our viewers, even those who listen to this on the podcast or future posting. We want you to ask questions so we can bring them back and we can have these kind of conversations to learn what is needed to advance athletics in the Bahamas. We're starting the second session, question and answer period. We're just going to give it a few minutes for everybody to log in. Garvin, welcome back. So
yeah, man, what do you say?
Right there, man. So again, I'm just going to remind everybody, this is the question and answer period. You're free to ask them any questions. I know I have a few questions I want to ask, bro. I think, were you a student like me? Like one of those people who really hated going to class? That's the main question I wanted to ask you. Because I never went to class.
Well, I had I had certain classes that I loved attending. You know, law, history, psychology, sociology, definitely history with Dr. Tracy Thompson, who I consider to be my intellectual mother. Speaking to people like Dr. Nicolette Battle. It was, you know, you had those days. Now, when you get to certain classes, math, business, I don't want to see certain classes. So it was certain I loved and certain classes
And that's real. And also, what program did you finish at the University of the Bahamas?
Well, I finished my AA in law, but I did most of the history program. So I had about like a few credits away to have a double bachelor's in history and education and history and geography, and a few classes away from having a bachelor's in history also, but I finished with my associate's diploma.
That's good, buddy. Same thing here. I don't know how it happened. I guess we must be from the same tree. The same thing happened to me. When I graduated, they was like, do it. When I finished my associates, they was like, you already did so much psychology classes in 2 years, you could have a psychology. Yes. So I was just like, whatever. And literally in 4 semesters, I got a bachelor's. And I went off to Canada as well. But the second question, and ladies and gentlemen, drop your questions. This is your segment. You want to hear any questions you have for Garvin? The second question is, you said you went abroad to school in Texas, right? At one point?
Right.
Tell us about that process. Was it easy for you to get a scholarship to go abroad? And was it something that happened that caused you to come back to COB, or was it just a decision?
All right. So I got a scholarship offer from the College of Eastern Utah. I had my mind made up. The coach came, spoke to me directly, and I was earmarked to go to the College of Eastern Utah. Now, what happened is that when it was coming closer to going off to school, because he offered me a full scholarship, he called around to a few coaches in the Bahamas. This one coach in Freeport. And this coach sent his players to the College of Eastern Utah. And that coach, I'm not going to call his name. I ended up finding out that coach completely defamed me and caused the coach from the College of Eastern Utah to pull back on giving me the full scholarship. And what was the most horrible thing about that incident was these people came down, talked to my mom, sent me all the brochures, and I had 5 other offers, and I decided to go with them. And this was the dilemma I was faced with, that I would not be able to go to school because of what had happened. And now it was coming close to the time to go off to school, which was like around July, August. Everyone head off for the fall semester. But like I said again, the Lion of Anacostia, Frederick Douglass has a quote that without struggle there's no progress. See, telling a person like me no means go around the next way or find the next way. So I was working at Atlantis at the time. I saved all of my money with the help of Kevin Johnson. He sent me to New Mexico Junior College, and I paid my first semester to New Mexico Junior College, coming in as a walk-on because obviously my scholarship opportunity was taken from me. Well, was not extended to me no more, but I had in my mind that I was going to go to school and play college basketball in America, and nothing was going to stop me.
That's good, buddy. Determination.
So when I went to New Mexico Junior College, I got an opportunity, even better opportunity, with the help of Kevin Johnson, to go to Odessa College. So I transferred to Odessa for better opportunity, better luck to pursue my athletics prowess. And once I got to Odessa, we worked out on a Division I regiment. Okay. We had open gyms with top Division I colleges in America coming to see us. I played for Larry Johnson's coach, Dennis Helms. And because I transferred to Odessa, when I initially came there, when Dennis Helms would have scholarshiped me for the next semester, my problem was that I had a bank bill that when I first came there as a transfer that I had to pay. I'll never forget it, $920. And Mr. Helms, because basketball in America and how it is played, the money is for the programs and the scholarships. It's all on a budget. And I was an international student. And he told me, he said, Garvin, I'm going to waive all of your fees. I'm going to get you a job on campus. We love you. I'm going to get you all of these things. But I can't pay that $920. He said, once you find that money, everything else is covered. And, I came from humble beginnings and I couldn't find that money. And even though I was on a meal plan, I was playing over there, I was advancing. I had a 3-point GPA. I was constantly plagued with money issues, because after the cafeteria closed, if you don't have any money, I had a bunch, you couldn't eat. I had a whole gang of vouchers that the school gave me, and they really was trying to assist, but I had no financial assistance whatsoever. And being in America, that could be very, very dismal. And I finally said, because of the money issues, that I'm coming home. And I came home. Initially I wanted to go back, but then I started to work at this law firm, Mintz & Co. Arthur Mintz. He gave me an opportunity, and I had to redo his law library, reorganize it, and then I came in contact with this book. The name of the book, it's a small read. The name of the book was The Negro Revolution, because I was in the process of searching self, introspection, wanting to go back to school, trying to figure out the money situation. And I came across this book, and it completely transformed my thinking. And I said, you know what? I'm going to the College of the Bahamas. I am going to pursue history. I'm going to pursue law. I'm going to use my mind. Basketball now will be secondary. And I made that decision. I had to work as a security officer at the Clifton Pear Heritage. I met the people who was excavating the site, spoke to the archaeologists. I worked 6 days, and I saved my money. I got a academic scholarship to enter the College of the Bahamas, and I didn't come initially to play basketball, and I was on my way. So that's
Hey,
that's the basically the story.
it ended up working out for us, and I feel like that grind and those lessons you learned in New Mexico and abroad, I think that's a lot of what you speak with, way like that real world experience. Because even
Right.
for me, I think above all these other memories, it's one particular thing that you did that wowed me, dog. I was at that time, I think I was Coba's president, and one evening I had had a long day, and I had on my coat suit, and I just was tired, dog. So I laying back and I put my feet on the table, and I think it may have been around the same time you was organizing all the teams, because you just marched straight in, came into the office, and the first thing you start off with is, "Wait, they said I hate but dudes like y'all, people out here trying to do stuff," and you like got on me, and you started off with put your foot on the table, but then it ended up being this conversation where I was understanding you was kind of telling me, do it for the position that you in and what you could do for other people. Don't waste it with these politics. And at the end of that, that's when you didn't know it. But from then, I always had this respect for you, because it's like you come out of nowhere and do that to me, but like I had a rough day. You was just like, man, I don't care if you had a rough day, but listen, but and you closed my door and talked to me. I was like, I don't even feel like the president no more, but still just the president, but I always respected that, dog. Speaking about your mind, ladies and gentlemen, questions. We're here for 2 more minutes. We're waiting for your questions. I see shout outs to Chris Swiss. He logged in. That's a young man who's on our team, number 24. I don't know if you
Okay.
should. I know if we get to see him play. You talked about Joseph and Kim. Do you remember
Uh,
Chris?
if I see him, but see, it's a couple other good players on the team now. But oh, that brother, that Joseph guy, oh Lord, he got a sweet stroke. He started pulling up from the half court on us, and I only could have smiled. But I always is like to encourage them and encourage young brothers, because see, by the time, as for example, you became the president, I was the presidential advisor to two sitting consecutive presidents. So
Mm-hmm.
I sat in so much meetings with the president of the College of the Bahamas, and it was one of those things where I always encourage brothers, because I always told every Cobus president, what Cobus truly needs is a constitution that needs to be ratified in law through the parliament, the House of Parliament, and the Cobus president should have a seat on the chair, on the board of Cobus, so the Cobus president can make decisions on behalf of the students. That was always my thing, constitutional reform. But I see a
Right.
question here.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions. So, Miss
Yeah,
Rose, first, what is your biggest takeaway from COB experience? And I only read it out loud, because when we do the recordings afterward, they wouldn't know what the
right,
questions is. So, what is your
right.
biggest takeaway from the from your COB experience?
Excellence truly comes at a price,
Mm.
and perseverance is the only thing we should be concerned with. My experience at the College of the Bahamas, which is now the University of the Bahamas, is the is the powerfulness, so to speak, or
Mm-hmm.
how powerful the journey of success impacts the character of a man.
Mm.
I would not have it any other way. And
Same here, man.
the process of meeting so much different people, and the process of being a part of an institution in my country, the best institution of higher learning, in my opinion, in the Caribbean, to be a part of that building process,
Mm-hmm.
that legacy, that's one of the greatest experience I think I could take away from the College of the Bahamas, my time at the College of the Bahamas. Every building block, every process, the process of building an institution, the meeting and networking with the different people, that's one of the greatest and most profound parts of my life that I would never take away. And that's probably.
So next question: any advice you would give the current Mingos players? The person who asked this, are you just meaning basketball players, or do you mean all student athletes? I just want to clarify. This is the Dre Alyssa.
Right. Well, to that question, I would say, and I think I could give a statement to speak to that, not just only the Mango players, but to College of the Bahamas students. I would say, challenge the process. Create. Don't be defined by the status quo, because it's slowly eroding. We are now entering into an era where Bahamians are now starting to look for the future. And the future will and must begin with the University of Bahamas. Mm-hmm. We need to start, all students need to start organizing think tanks. We need to start asking about our curriculum. We need to start questioning whether or not the curriculum and how it is structured is for the benefit of the new Bahamas. Because many of them now that are in these positions will not see the new Bahamas. Mm-hmm. It's incumbent on us, millennials, and those after us, to now start questioning the process of how things are done and not seeking to buffer or to appease those that are in power, and not seeking to fill their position, but seeking to create new positions, seeking to create the new and modern Bahamas. I will tell all Mingo players and all student athletes and all students in the Bahamas, all students at the College of the Bahamas and the University of the Bahamas, it's time to dream beyond the stars. It's time to imagine greater, bigger, better, 200, 300 years into the future. It's time to define an era in our country that will lead all Bahamians into the new millennium. This is the time. This is the time.
As much as COB do the stuff same way. Like, but you know, I be walking around cracking jokes, but I just can't talk like you. But hearing you, I be like, wait, why I stop talking like this?
Well, see, let me show you something, brother. Mm. I said this, and I'll say it again. I said in a video that I was a part of, an interview. Mm-hmm. I said, free people don't pursue happiness. Free people create happiness. Ah. Free people are not defined. Free people define themselves. See, no one defines who I am as a black Bahamian. I define who I am. Hmm. I live my life on the basis of the ideals and the history, my history, and all the virtues I choose to endorse and encourage. Mm-hmm. And my observation of freedom came from a place, a most peculiar place that most people wouldn't look. My observation of freedom came from watching my Bahamian brothers of Haitian descent. They come over here with little or nothing. Yeah, but look at them. Yeah. You say whatever you will say, but
we gotta give respect to that right there. We gotta give respect. KMZ Sylvester, one of the best student athletes we ever had of Haitian descent.
But look at it. You say whatever you want to say about them, but they love their own music. They eat their own food. They're on their time. They are the truest example of free people in the Bahamas. And then they integrate back into our society. They help build our schools and our communities. They are on our police force, our defense force. They are teachers. They are nurses. They contribute to our society and advance our society. And you know why they have the capacity to do it? Because they are one of the most exemplifying, so to speak, figures or people. Mm-hmm. They represent the epitome, of freedom, of free thinking, regardless of what you say about me. I still love my food. I still love my music. I still love my dance. I still love myself. And I am going to encourage and endorse the thoughts that I choose. And those are the people that help me to come to the understanding that free people are not defined. Free people define themselves.
Amen.
So,
and I want to join in with celebrating all of our athletes from other ethnicities. You know, we have Simba. Simba came from, I believe, correct me, Miss Roll, if I get it wrong. I think Simba came from Barbados or St. Lucia. Kimsey Sylvester, of course, proud Haitian descent. Robert Joseph, proud Haitian descent. The last two valedictorians for the University of the Bahamas are proud Haitian descent. And I think our country, as you're saying, at an intellectual point, needs to realize that some of the greatest contributors to our country should not be judged just because of where they come from, but where they are and what they're doing. And I think that's an important point as we grow as a nation, man. You're speaking goal here, Garvin. Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you didn't know, this is one of the first ever, I would say, student-athlete presidents. You know, somebody who really laid the bricks for everything a lot of athletes have here today. Even part you didn't share, bro. That real moment of being at the dorm and staying out. You know, Adrian Wildgoose is my brother. That's my best friend. Adrian used to tell me, boy, Adrian used to say, boy, the dorms? People don't know. He said, but you know, there used to be. Yeah. Shout outs to Ace, man. Adrian Wildgoose there. Where is he now? He's in charge of Heineken and Vitamin, I believe. So
yes. Hey, me and him have so much different discussions and memories. We walk down memory lane, and I heard him on the radio the other day. And you know, I used to do a lot of writing because I even hit you up and show you. You know, we got to get together and do some work on certain things. And I always say, see, when you understand what this skin you in means, and you understand that nothing was ever given to us. You know, we came from glory, and then we were exiled into paradise.
Man,
we
came
from
break
glory.
Down the history, man. You see too big. Black cultures, the Afro, before the Afro Bohemian, the Afro, four richest empires in history.
Naturally. See,
four richest.
Naturally. So that's where we came from. The pyramids were built by the hands of the Africans. The pyramids are in Africa. So we got to understand we came from glory, and we were kidnapped into paradise. And we were cattled into paradise.
Right.
And we created Chankanu, we created culture, music in oppression. We must understand what that means. It's very hard to create in oppression and in struggle. But we created in struggle. And now we stand as a group of people kidnapped to be the majority and oversee this beautiful land. I look at COVID-19 with a smile. We overcame greater. I look at the economic dismay that we are facing right now, and I look at it with a smile because we overcame greater. I know the history. I know the capacity of this great people that we call Bahamians. I know the capacity of these great people that we call Caribbeans, Jamaicans, Haitian. I know the capacity and the will to survive, to live, to surmount the insurmountable. I know us. So I look at all the present social malaise and all the present social dismays, and I look at them with a smile because I know who we are.
Hey, let me share how much we on the same wavelength. Bahamians have this stinking habit, and I call it a stinking habit because we need to support our own before we go abroad. Right now is the perfect, Coach Barker's role knows it. A lot of the coaches knows it. You know it. Right now is the perfect time for the ministry to put together a solid live streaming system, open up Kendall, and let athletes be athletes and start something where athletes could have this as a way of life to compare and get ready to go to the Olympics. Because the same way how the NBA can make the bubble so that these players can play, we should be making a bubble so our games and stuff can play. We should be telling people, oh, you waiting on ESPN? No, you need to turn it to Mango's TV and watch this game tonight. Night League. You need to watch these athletes do what they got to do. And for me, boy, I try my best to push it because if we miss this gap when these international distractions shut down, if we miss this gap and we don't develop our programs here, boy, we ain't gonna never get this opportunity like this again, boy. We need people to tune into. They need to know who Garvin Lightbourne is, who Kimsey Sylvester is. And I've had the joy to watch this. I said this on day one of the program. I told Shaky, but my goal, but for 2 years when I had Shaky under the brand, I say, Shaky, I only want one little kid to walk up to you and say, oh my goodness, you Shaky, let me get your autograph. And I got to live to see that dog. A little kid come out of nowhere and say, oh, I know him, he's da-da-da, and he's do this, and he can dribble. That's all I wanted to play. Because we have to start celebrating our athletes so they could understand how much support behind them. But and we didn't touch this part, but this is a new question. I lose a bet. I here because I lose a bet. Because I told Kim if the basketball team win an international game, I would come and brand the university. I am here because they went abroad and they won. I blame Kimsey. But back then, the team wasn't winning as much as now. Talk about the realities of fanhood back then. Being, behind the scenes, paying for you and stuff, trying to make a way. Being a carrot, but it wasn't this much spotlight as they have now. Talk about that for the listening audience.
Well, fanhood and support. The reason why, and we did have a lot of fans and we had a lot of support. Mm-hmm. But see, what happened was there was no culture. Now see, culture comes from a certain word, cultus, and it means what you care for, care about. And you have to understand that fanhood and celebratory institutions has to be nurtured. Mm-hmm. That's where Miss Kim Roll came in. I say her name so much good. I can't. It's
hold on. I have to stop you there. There's a rule. So I stopping you. There's a rule. As long as this show is mine and I hosting it, we don't big up Miss Kim Roll here this much. I ain't scared to lose a job for that. This one episode, I have to edit this. You talk about the woman too good for one episode. That's enough of it. I don't want to hear no more Kimberly Roll on this show. Thank you. Let's continue. Talk about something else, man.
But see, the process of nurturing the fanhood and coming up with new ideas, it should not be as a struggle. It should be seen as an opportunity to create, just like you did with the mangoes, and you turned the mango, which was perceived to be yellow, to be pink. You turned
the pink mango, the flamingo, and
you turned the flamingo, what was perceived to be pink, which is actually gray and white. You turned it blue. You don't understand what that means. See, that speaks to now taking an abstract and defining and then redefining it. Mm-hmm. And then the manifestation of that idea is now seen in an awesome logo that now actually, because it's manifested and it's being supported, what is happening now is life is now being bred into that movement, and that's why it is now like it's expanding. So back then we didn't have an institution to facilitate the fanhood. We must understand one thing. Everything that we are going through, that you are going through, the lack of support, the one door closed, the next open, remember one thing. You are creating something that was not there. Continue to gather your data. Continue to be free-minded. Continue to nurture the idea and the creation that you brought into life. That's where it is. That sweet spot. Understanding that I can continue and continue and continue until it calibrates.
Hey,
And
a student tell me the other day when they was chanting, they was can't on, you beat me, they can't on bad. They Mr. You and chanting? Well, you don't know this chanting. He dead, but get out there and I looking at them like, do what I invent.
I
It's like I made this. This time it's been
and
moments and shout outs to Kim for allowing this and even your words of these positive words, I needed this, I absorbing this. But those moments where just like what you're saying, you playing, remember your words and you said to Kim see them when after you play, you said, y'all don't know who I is. But it's like, bro, I was in your shoes. And now to be on the opposite side and see what y'all doing, they don't know the pride it gives us as alumni, bro. Because a lot
right.
of people put a lot of, like, remember what I say? You put a lot of stones to allow what they are now, bro. A lot. Like the discipline of Garvin Lightbourne to be a full-time student, to play ball even after the story of Mexico, right? To play ball even after he thought he didn't play ball. And even recently you put back on your shoes to play night league. That speaks to a spirit that's a mingle, but that's the brand right there, bro. That's what it is to be from this college. To know that, boy, whenever your heart set on something, you do it without remorse. And I think that's what is to be elevated. That's what the brand is. I could break down the brand for you other days, but a lot of it comes back to that way of thinking when being COB, bro. Let me show you the last bit. I want to show you what you even doing to the brand. The flamingo feeds its young by excreting the membrane of its stomach, right? And in that process, when the young gets the membrane, you know how our stomachs operate, the young starts to turn pink. The same baby that was once bright white gray turns pink, and the adult turns bright white gray. So the whole concept behind what is a mango is sacrifice and togetherness, bro. It's about, that's why we doing this. It's about the older generation understanding that you can't suckle, you can't feed the milk. You gotta give the reserves of what you been eating, the knowledge, the information, the passion, and you gotta feed that to the next generation. And that's how we've been growing the brand so far. So you, without even being told, but you being doing it, bro. Garvin talks about the grind of Mark 140. Point out. Hold on. We gotta stop what I said. Let's go there. Talk about the 140 story. How much time you got? You got a little more time. Tell me about 140. Let me hear it. Tell me about Mark 140.
I always tell people, Mark 140 it's a voluminous class. It's not a hard class. It's a voluminous class. So what happens in March 40 is you build and build and build and build and build. And I would fall asleep in the class, then I started missing 2 or 3 hated maths. Couldn't get past that class for nothing. Miss Rowan said, oh Lord God, Garvin, how much times with this March 140 you withdrawing from this class? You fail in this class. And I say, Miss Rowan, okay, I go buckle down. And I can remember when I did the final exam, because when we had our midterms, I was still a B. And me and her laughing, and I was like, Miss Rowan, I tell you I got this. And she was like, Garvin, I hope this is the time, because I would draw the class so much time. Because it's COB, Mark 140 is like the killing heels of so much students, because it's so much you have to remember. And then the final test at the time, I don't know what it is now, it represented the majority of the grade. So it was like 70%, and then it was just, you had the quadratics and linear equations, and Maths 167, I think, is way more easier. But 140? Oh my goodness. So, yeah, I had to, and I always, what I tell people is, and I like to tell them, listen, I can tell you how to pass every and any class in the university, because I didn't have a smooth ride through. I could tell you where the focus was lacking. I could tell you how to get up when you have failed. I could give you the potion. I could give you the equation of success. Not for when you, and this is what people don't realize. The truth of a man, the true character of a human, the true character of someone is not when they succeed. It's when you fall. And then, what is the equation to rise? So I've been all and in between. I've had the highest GPA sometime and the lowest. I have had to I could remember one time doing construction
Mm.
and going to
Really?
class,
Really?
coming from a construction job, not taking lunch, to get off at 3 o'clock to get to class by 4, a math class, lifting cement all day. These things, what people don't understand, that when you add that variable, that changes the whole process of learning.
Mm-hmm.
You see, but I did it, and I would do it again because of the character it created in me. This It created the spirit of intrepidness. I became intrepid. I became I became relentless. It made me. So every struggle up and down in between, I fully embrace it because, like I always tell people, and you can quote me on this,
Mm-hmm.
mental stamina is physical strength. The mind tells the hand what to do. The hand doesn't tell the mind what to do. The man is the mind, and the mind is what cultivates the future and will take us from this point into the new millennium.
Boy, that's nuggets out the way. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to a close. Again, 2 minute mark. We're waiting for your next question. Thank you for that blast on the pass from Kimberly Roll. It definitely caused you to
It was
stop.
so like
You
because
couldn't
that was
stop
funny, man.
smiling. You couldn't stop smiling. I'm curious though. Let's get competitive for a second. And I know you by nature. You're not gonna do this, but these just hypotheticals, right? You at your
Mm,
peak. You at your peak. Garvin Lightbourne at his peak. You know, the one
right.
who just doing the dunk competition at UB
Uh,
versus Kimsey. And I would say the recent Kimsey is probably at his peak because I think this is his
uh,
last semester. I'm going to name the categories and you got to tell me based on what you know who you think got it. Ball handling.
uh.
Who got it? Ball handling. Let's go. Let's go. Ball handling. Me ending the show with a smile. Ball handling, Kimsey Sylvester
Hey,
versus Garvin Lightbourne at his peak. Don't cut this. Ball handling. Say it. Ball handling. Who got it?
hey,
Who got it?
you know, I can tip my hat to the young brother. I give it to Kim's.
No, man. You trying to tell me you think Kimsey a better ball handler than you, boy, Garvin? Oh my goodness.
You know,
Even
I
even
don't
Coach
want.
Rolls say Kimsey ball handler. No, I mean Garvin ball handler. You know what? Let's go to the next category. Shooting. We're going 2 pointers. Long shooting. So first category is shooting free throws. Garvin Lightbourne or Kimsey Sylvester. And we know Kimsey stats. So I want to hear what you think. Free throws. Who got that?
I can tip my hat to the young brother.
Garvin, you too humble. Stop this. All right, long tours. Long tours. Who got it? Kimsey Sylvester versus Garvin Lightbourne. Long tours. The long 2-pointer.
I think he have a good extension and a good pull up. So I can tip my hat to the young brother.
Nah, this way I can see if you lying. 3-pointers. Garvin Lightbourne or Kimsey Sylvester. Your whole balling career on this. If you Garvin Lightbourne versus Kimsey Sylvester for a 3-point shootout, who would win?
I think the young brother's improved tremendously.
I
So I
can't
can
have this
tip my hat to the young
I
brother.
can't have this interview with you. Anybody who's watched Kimsey game knows. Boy, I played one-on-one with Kimsey, and you know I big enough. The only thing I gotta do is get in between him and the
You
basket.
want to come
I
here, Kimmy ain't got no team, but
I would bet hundreds of dollars that Kimsey can miss if he shoot, bro. That's how confident I is in that boy miss. Anyway, I just joking. Shout
I
out to
think we
Kimsey.
have our game. We had different skill sets, but definitely I think he was just as good a defender as I was, and our athleticism. We aligned.
Now, hold
I
on, hold
just
on.
don't.
Let's take a pause there. Kimsey Sylvester averaged 2 blocks a game, 7 assists, maybe 3 steals. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have heard a rumor that Garvin Lightbourne doesn't play defense. What are you talking about yourself? I have heard a rumor.
Hey, well, I tip my hat to him in that category.
Now, this is
Now,
why no. This is the last one. We getting this. And I know you have ups, but Gavin, so stop lying. A dunk out between you and Kimsey. Who got that? At your peak. Stop lying. Who got it?
I made scaly mode just by a little bit with that. I might scale him out just a little bit.
Finally, that's what
Just
I want.
just a peek. But you know, I think he exemplifies what it means, what a mango means, what it means to be a mango. I think
Domingo,
he
yeah.
a mango. Sorry, what it means to be a mango. Excuse me. I think he exemplifies what it means to be a mango, and can't I can't take nothing away from the brother, and I admire him. I admire his game, you know. So see, with great players, there's no comparison, because when you see so much of yourself in someone else, you know, it's like your spirit feeds into that person, and in many ways, you live vicariously through that person, knowing that the spirit of the Mingos is continuing to be, has been handed over to the right person, and it's being handled in such a manner. So I try not to compare, right?
I know you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't. You know, I know you wouldn't fall for that trap.
Like,
I still try.
Yeah. You know, I believe, like, I still with spank babies, you know, but I mean, when you do find the person that will lead and deserves to be leading and at the forefront of the program, with the excellent coaching of Coach Barker's role, who is an excellent coach and has done an amazing job in transforming that program into an elite college program. Only thing you could do is support and hope and pray for them to continue to do what they've been doing, you know?
Well, I have one final question, and I want to it's a quick answer question, but right after you answer it, I want you to give any final words of wisdom before we close the show. And that's, what was your number? Because I think we need to retire your number officially. But like, nobody should be allowed to weigh in. Number 7 was in Miss Rose. Yes. We need to respectfully retire the jersey 7 to never be touched by anybody except Garvin Lightbourne Jr. It has been declared. It has been declared here on the show. But any final words of wisdom to our listening audience before we close the segment for the day?
Right. Well, what I would like to say, you know, because I said a mouthful, but in closing, I would just like to encourage the student athletes and help them to understand that their coaches and their administrative staff is doing a great job, and the university is in a germinating stage, and take this opportunity and live in the moment. Those students that take this opportunity to live in the moment and search your lineage, search your heritage. It's power in your story. It's power in your ancestors and where you came from. So I'd just like to leave those persons and all students, and by extension all Bahamians, with that.
Hey,
you know, this is a tough time, but you know,
and ladies and gentlemen,
from toughness.
Sorry, you know? I gotta actually end it right here, Garvin. Sadly, I'll be about
to
get
no problem.
But ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for listening into another off season. This is your host Ren, coming to you live from the University of the Bahamas, and we are honored to have Mr. Garvin Lightbourne, number 7, and we got it done in the comments by our athletic director Kimberly. So we need to have a big presentation, because for what you've done for this program, bro, I don't care if y'all ain't win a championship. These lessons that I've learned from here, what you did for student athletes, should be rewarded on that utmost level. So I want to say thank you again for taking this time out, bro. Even though the sun's setting, I know your mind's still going. I can see the sun setting in the back, boy. We being on this long. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. And we'll see you, when is the next show? Who we got? We got this Thursday. We're talking about UB Golf. So you want to tune in this Thursday. Thank you again.
Definitely, man. All right, take care.